Hello and welcome to Creature Club, a podcast where we talk about stuff in D&D. Today, we're doing something a bit different.
Ooh.
Some of you might be familiar with our Treasure Trove series. Well, it's now.
Wow.
Again, in stereo. With me, as always, is Tim Porter.
Hey, that's me.
And I'm Mikey. I forgot about that part too.
He is. He definitely is.
I thought you guys already knew that, but, you know.
I made sure it was him at the start of the episode before we started recording that it was Mikey.
Yeah, anyone could have just, come into the studio.
You never know. You never, ever know.
You really don't.
Anyway, yeah. Today is Treasure Trove, right?
Yep, that's right. And how does Treasure Trove work, Tim, for the people at home?
Well, let me tell you. In Treasure Trove, we go into the Dungeon Master's Guide, one of the original released handbooks from Wizards of the Coast, and we go to the magic items section, and we choose a letter. We are going alphabetically through it, just like we are in our normal Creature Club series. And today, we are going through the G items. G.
The letter G for gamers. That's what we are.
Ultimate gamer moves on this episode.
That's right. You're going to be hearing that, I guess. All right. So we go through the Dungeon Master's 5th edition, Dungeon Master's Guide for 5th edition, and we go to the items and we like to talk about them and how, like Creature Club, we talk about how we would use them in our games and stuff we like about them.
For sure. And kind of flavor stuff.
But let's just hop straight into it because, time is money and we don't got a lot of money.
No, we don't make any off this either.
That's right, yeah.
Anyway.
Cool. So the first one is the Gauntlets of Ogre Power.
Ooh.
Wondrous item, uncommon, requires attunement. Your strength score is 19 while you wear these gauntlets. They have no effect on you if your strength is already 19 or higher. And that's it.
There you go. So they're just fashion accessories.
Yeah, if your strength is 19 or higher.
Oh yeah, right, of course.
But if it's lower, then they're fashion accessories that give you super strength, ogre strength, ogre power to be precise.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a classic item. You hear about this like gauntlets of ogre power or belt of giant's strength or something that gives you more strength or more of a certain stat, but in this side it's strength.
And I think it's strange that they gave it the strength of 19, which is not beyond the capabilities of a standard character. Like you could roll yourself a nice juicy 20 out the gate on your strength, and you could just put that if you're a barbarian or something, and that would be fine. But this is probably for someone who rolls fairly or rolls just the 4d6 and then subtracts the 1.
Yeah.
So if your party has done that, this is at least going to give them at least a 1 point advantage on their strength. Although it makes them just shy of the old 20. So they don't get the +5 bonus to their strength.
Well, that's this is an uncommon item. It's still wondrous, but it's an uncommon item. So
yeah,
I know it says uncommon, but it's pretty common in terms of magic items.
Yeah.
It's kind of a weird way of putting it, but it's true.
Sure, they're a dime a dozen.
That's right. Yeah, but the giant strengths items, they're the ones that give you the higher.
Yeah, the 20s.
But this one is just kind of for, maybe starting out adventure, something to throw into the treasure pile. Give it to the wizard or something to have because. Or give it to the person to beef them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's say your fighter is a really bad fighter and doesn't have 19 or 20 strength, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they find this, oh cool, now I'm stronger.
Yeah.
So it's just a fun little buff to give to your party.
Yeah, it's a handy utility. As a DM, if you have a character who is strength based and they're kind of frustrated with their strength being like a 14 or maybe even a 16, you can, as Mikey said, you could throw this into one of the hordes that they find, and suddenly they'll be like, oh yes, now I'm finally significantly stronger.
Yeah.
And being a strength based class, being able to have the 19 there or anything like that, then that's super duper handy. And yeah, handy gauntlets, handy.
I don't get it.
Anyway, so there's
I really don't get it.
There's a lovely illustration here of the gauntlets of ogre power just above them. But I was looking at it earlier and thinking, gauntlets of ogre power. Do you think that it actually has nothing to do with an ogre, but whoever, the enchanter who came up with the ability to make these magical, was just I'm going to make these so that someone is strong as an ogre, but it's not actual ogre power. I haven't imbued these gauntlets with ogre power because they're way too nice. I think they look far too pretty to be too strongly connected to ogres.
Maybe you had to get the essence of an ogre or something, or like the soul of an ogre to power these to make them strong, you know?
Yeah. I think I personally, if I was the enchanter, I would have made them a bit more kind of gnarly, because those are very pretty. They're nice little studded like plate mail gauntlets that look very nice and are very ornate.
You can't really sell them if they're gnarly looking, Tim. You gotta know what sells, man.
That's fair. You know, you're trying to sell to the gentry.
Exactly. Yeah.
These gauntlets of ogre power.
But I would like to give these to like an enemy. Actually, just a pretty strong goon when your players are fighting at like, you know, low level goons or something. Give them to one of these guys, and then just if they see like, oh, those look nice, and then all right, well, you can take them if you want, and then you can check him out. And turns out he was getting his strength from these, so it's just a fun little prize for the fight.
It'd be funny if you gave them to like a goblin or something who
That would
has
be
like
very fun.
low stats, and then there's just this one going around just punching the daylights out of some of your characters. You're like, oh, goblins, yeah, we're slicing through these goblins, and then you come up against one who hits you with a hammer and deals like 12 damage at level 1 and immediately knocks out your paladin or something.
Yeah, or that would be like the first encounter your players do at level 1, and it just like kills your wizard like in one punch.
Yeah,
I picture like these gauntlets being like humanoid size. So this goblin's wearing like these big Hulk hands. You know those toy Hulk hands you can get?
Yeah.
And he just punches him with them.
Yeah, perfect.
That's very good.
Excellent.
Gauntlets of ogre power.
I think we've juiced that baby enough.
Well, maybe not, but it's a simple item
For sure.
Give it to your players if they're at a lower level, and it can be a fun item for them to fight over and see who uses it. Do it. Next item.
The next item is the Gem of Brightness, which is a wondrous item that is also uncommon. This prism has 50 charges. While you are holding it, you can use an action to speak one of 3 command words to cause one of the following effects. The first command word causes the gem to shed bright light in a 30-foot radius and dim light for an additional 30 feet. This effect doesn't expend a charge. It lasts until you use a bonus action to repeat the command word or until you use another function of the gem. The second command word expends 1 charge and causes the gem to fire a brilliant beam of light at one creature you can see within 60 feet of you. The creature must succeed on a DC 15 Constitution saving throw or become blinded for 1 minute. The creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of each of its turns, ending the effect on itself on a success. The third command word expends 5 charges and causes the gem to flare with blinding light in a 30-foot cone originating from it. Each creature in the cone must make a saving throw as if struck by the beam created with the second command word. When all of the gem's charges are expended, the gem becomes a non-magical jewel worth 50 gold pieces.
Handy.
It's a giant, powerful light bulb that you can set its different settings on, which is nice.
That's kind of cool.
50 charges is a lot.
It is, yeah, but 1 gold piece for each charge, I guess you get.
Yeah,
at the end,
nice.
Maybe, I don't know.
That's pretty cool. No, that makes sense. I didn't even count that.
I just saw 50 charges, 50 gold pieces. There we go. Yeah, so it's a big old light bulb, as you said. What can you do with that? Lots of things, I'd say, but
you can put it in your staff and wear all grey and pretend you're Gandalf.
Gandalf's a thing in your game. Like, is he canon? Is he a character?
He's canon.
Okay,
and he just has a gem of brightness in it.
Yeah. What does he say to the? What does he say to the?
I think he says, I think I can chance a little more darkness. He whispers something into it to activate it, but I don't think I ever got that deep into the lore of exactly what he says.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
So in D&D, you get a whole lot of stuff that can light up the place if it's dark.
For sure.
You have cantrips, you have spells, you have weapons that can do that, and you have dark vision. Why do you need to do that anyway? And just regular old torches.
Yep.
What is the use of this wondrous item right here? What makes this one different from the rest?
I think it's subtlety to a certain extent. Like, if you are going to be using a light, but you don't want to be carrying around like a big old torch with you, you can just set this light. It's like a little LED. I picture it as being like the size of maybe your thumb, and it just emits this bright light. And I think that you could just keep it in your pocket, or instead of carrying around the big torch, you have this subtle little nice little gem.
Yeah.
That, you could set it down. You could probably activate it, set it down, and then have it as like a trap Like people see a light in the distance and then they walk over like, hey, what's this? I'm going to investigate this. And then you kill them and take all of their food.
Is that what you do in D&D? Is that
That's what you
the
do.
goal? Is that the goal of everyone's? Yeah.
Take all the food.
Like, it's just a little gem that even you could put on the hilt of your sword as a little, like, just ornamentation, or even on your helm that you can use as, like, a torch helm.
Yeah.
But this one has a little bit more utility as well, where it can blind people with, like, a huge beam, or use a flare if you want to call for help. But when are you ever going to do that?
Oh, good point.
You never know.
I never would have thought of that. Like, you can, if you were lost in a forest or something and you know that there are people around you and you have this gem, you can activate the command word, the second or third command word, and just point it upwards.
Yeah.
And then people will see this great bright beam of light.
Yeah.
That's smart. I didn't think of that.
Would a firebolt work as a flare?
A firebolt? I think so. Like, they just shoot the firebolt into the air. I think it is like a little ball of fire. Like, I think fireball is actually like a little beam of light by its own description, as far as I remember.
If you shot a fireball up into the sky, then that would be that's like a little explosion happening in the air.
Yeah.
And if you're doing it in a forest, then you could set a forest fire there. So,
but yeah, I think keeping track of the charges might be the only slightly uncomfortable thing about this. But otherwise, I think it's a handy little thing. Like, if you have a non-magical party, this could be just a handy little thing.
Yeah.
For most humans or anybody that doesn't have dark vision.
Yeah, I don't see maybe much of a reason to, like, you can just probably get rid of the charges, but maybe by doing that they can blind everyone all the time.
Yeah. Maybe you could just use it as like a once a day you can use the third command word, and then the second command is just like, maybe have it on a recharge.
Yeah.
Like on a 6 per round, you can reuse this essentially like a blinding spell.
Yeah, maybe like it always just lights up, but it has to charge up to do its like blinding light, and if it doesn't, then maybe you can't use it at all for the rest of the day. It needs to charge up. You need to shake it up.
The marketing department definitely were the one who told them not to make it like a permanent thing. Like, just be like, yeah, we could make it so that it does all of these things all the time, but maybe give them a limit so that they come back and spend more money on us. Like, produce more gems of brightness that are just, 50 charges. Oh, it'll last you a long time, but we need them to come back. We don't want to like saturate the market with perfect gems of brightness.
Nice social commentary, Tim. And with we can move on to the next one.
Alrighty.
The Gem of Seeing, another gem. Wondrous item, rare, requires attunement. This gem has 3 charges. As an action, you can speak the gem's command word and spend 1 charge. For the next 10 minutes, you have true sight out of 120 feet when you peer through this gem. The gem regains 1d3 expended charges daily at dawn. So, guys, get out your d3s there. Get your hand deep into the dice bag and see if you can find your d3 that you've never used your entire life.
Yeah, the D3. That's definitely a rare one. I think most people would just go for the LD6, and then like not evens or odds. It's like 1 to 2 is 1, 3 and 4 is 2, and then 5 and 6 is 3. But yeah, that's a cool little item.
It is.
I like that. True sight.
I quite like that. True sight would be very handy.
Yeah. I think it's one of those things that a lot of people kind of forget. That is a really, really handy thing to have. But I think also DMs have kind of accepted the fact that players aren't going to be like, I'm feeling kind of like uncomfortable. I feel the hairs stand up on the back of my neck. I'm going to activate my true sight thing. And then they look around and they see the ghost about to assassinate your friend, and you're like, oh no. And then you throw a brick at them, and then they fall unconscious, and then everyone's fine.
Everyone's fine. We won. We won the day, guys. We won the day.
We sure did. Good thing I kept this brick on me.
I like maybe you, the DM, are in charge of the charges. So
okay,
if they're using it too much, then you can just say you have
1 charge this morning.
You have 1 charge left, or 1 charge this time. And if they're using it too much and they're being annoying, to say it broke. Sorry.
Or if they're not keeping track of the charges, like say they have 3 charges, if they try to use a 4th in one day, like the gem shatters or something like that.
Yes. Cool.
Because True Sight lets you see into the like ethereal plane, so you can see ghosts and you can see invisibility, and like I imagine it's something along the lines of the like predator vision, where you can like have different filters.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Different filters over your eyes, and you can see like infrared, but you can also see like UV and all these different stuff. I think that would be cool.
Yeah. Gem of Seeing. Any cool things you can do with this?
Gem of Seeing. I think that it would be just a handy one to... Like, I don't think it has much in the use of, like, in the hands of an enemy. It wouldn't be terribly useful, bar, like, somebody who's, like, super duper paranoid about being assassinated or something. Like, they would maybe have these built so that they keep this on them and then they, like, activate it. Maybe, they, like, a king has, like, 3 or 4 of them on them and has spent quite a bit of money on activating these gems of seeing so that he's just able to potentially see when something is coming for him anytime that he feels, as I said earlier, like the hairs stand up on the back of his neck, or if he gets the chills, he just activates it and looks around and then calms himself down. It's like a stress ball for paranoid people.
I guess. To remind us and to remind you guys at home, True Sight. A creature with True Sight can, out of a specific range, see in normal and magical darkness, see invisible creatures and objects, automatically detect visual illusions and succeed on saving throws against them, and perceives the original form of a shape changer or a creature that is transformed by magic. Furthermore, the creature can see into the ethereal plane.
That's actually a lot more powerful than I thought.
You can't hide anything here.
Yeah, geez, True Sight. Wow, you can even see through magical darkness. I didn't think anything could do that. I thought that was the point.
That's the thing about magical darkness, is that nothing can see through it. But that's the thing about True Sight, is that it's super... Like, it's the best sight, and you can see through everything. So,
oh, nothing can see through magic darkness? Yeah, well, I have True Sight, which lets me see through everything +1.
That you're cheating. True Sight's not a thing.
Oh, cheater. Cheater.
Look it up.
Teacher.
He made up a new site.
That little illustration is super cute. The gem of seeing, as you pointed out.
Yeah, I can picture guys in the opera kind of using it. To like see the ethereal opera or something.
Yes.
Ooh, that's a great idea for a villain now. Just like in an abandoned opera house, and then like the villain sitting and looking through this to like a ghostly opera.
That's cool.
And then he's like, "Welcome to the opera of death," and then he summons some ghosts at you and then kills and
then
you.
He just sits in the like the royal box, just looking down at you while you fight all of these ghosts.
That's a great encounter idea. I love that.
You're like, the characters can't see anything, but like to you, the DM, you can see this little operatic battle going on in front of you. Crazy.
Yeah,
that'd be fun.
But I think they would kind of show up. They would like come out of the ethereal plane to fight you. So
that's what they do.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'm keeping that for myself. And everyone at home, don't tell anyone who I might play a game of D&D with in the future, all right?
Yeah, most of our ideas are for you guys and for sharing, but this one is just for Mikey, so nobody steal that idea. Don't steal Mikey's OC.
If you happen to run into someone who's like, oh yeah, Mikey, he's DMing a game for me, just don't tell him any of my ideas.
Just don't tell them.
Don't tell them, all right? Thank you very much. You guys can share whoever you want, but not those guys.
Not those guys.
Gem of Seeing can also maybe be put on some goggles. That'll be pretty cool.
Yep. True Sight on some goggles. Nice.
Be kind of like the goggles of night that we will talk about in a sec, but just better. That's
really putting the cart before the horse. I may be misusing that term or phrase. Anyway,
it's going.
Next.
I like it. Continue.
Next up is the Giant Slayer. Weapon.
Oof.
Any axe or sword. Rare. You gain +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic weapon. Nice, so it's +1. When you hit a giant with it, the giant takes an extra 2d6 damage of the weapon's type and must succeed on a DC 15 strength saving throw or fall prone. For the purpose of this weapon, giant refers to any creature with the giant type, including ettins and trolls. So that's handy. It looks pretty gruesome in the portrayal here. It looks like it's made out of bone or something.
Yeah.
Pretty gnarly. But yeah, that's cool. The only time that this is going to be super useful, like this is one of those ones that's very useful in a very specific set of circumstances. So maybe I'd probably give this to an NPC who is like Grant the Giant Slayer. Like this is his weapon, or he has multiple of this specific type because he's the go-to guy for fighting giants.
Yeah.
Like maybe he's like, there was a giants war some centuries ago and he's like an old general or something, and he's this wizened old guy that just carries around this giant slayer axe, and he's called upon anytime there's another giant uprising.
Yeah, and he's like, stop calling me.
I'll send one of my minions with one of my rad axes.
Yeah, that's a cool idea though, and maybe if you're doing like an adventure where giants are, the baddies or something. Like I haven't played Storm Giants Thunder, but I assume that something like this would come in handy for it.
Indeed.
Or they're like, you need to get yourself the Giant Slayer sword, or axe, or whatever it is. It could be any axe or sword.
Yes.
And use it to fight them, to kill them. It's better. Or maybe like there's a guild of monster hunters who are like giant slayers.
Yes.
And Grant the giant slayer is the leader of them, and he would, if you're a member and you are worthy, he can like bestow a giant slayer weapon for you.
Yeah. Or if it's just like a standard like monster hunting guild or something, they'll just have like an arsenal of stuff like this that is specifically given to people who are sent out on missions to hunt giants or like dragon slaying arrows or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It'd be a fun one. Although like a specific giant slaying guild sounds pretty awesome,
It does, yeah.
That implies that there has been a big enough problem with giants in whatever world you're playing that it is worth having like a giant slaying guild. And I think that's pretty rad.
Yeah, maybe there was like a war between giants and humanoids, they had to get people who were good at that, and that was like a lost form of combat is like giant versus giant combat, I guess, and that's what these guys are here for. They keep tradition going or something.
I like that.
But yeah, it's just a weapon that does better damage to giants, so
and makes them fall prone.
Yes, which is good.
Yes, always good
when you're going against big boys.
Unless you're a distance fighter, unless you're an archer, because if something falls prone and you're trying to shoot it from a distance, you get disadvantage. But everyone else gets advantage.
Then you got to use Giant Slayer arrows.
Ooh.
Like in Dark Souls.
Where
they have like those Dragon Slayer arrows where they had to put on the big great bow that they had to mount on the ground.
Oh, yeah. A massive thing.
And it's pretty much just a big javelin that they shoot out. But you can do something like that.
That'd be kind of perfect. I think it's funny how it says any axe or sword. So you're just like in an arsenal of swords, or like there's just a bunch of swords and axes around. You're like, is this a Giant Slayer axe? No. Is this a Giant Slayer axe? No. Is this a Giant Slayer axe? Yes. Yay! You just pick up any axe or sword, and it might be a Giant Slayer.
But it's any axe or sword, so it should be.
It could be any.
It could just be any. It's any sword. Any sword can be a Giant Slayer sword. You just have to like swing it the right way.
You just have to believe it.
You have to believe
very good.
Yeah.
You just have to believe. A Giant Slayer fucking greatsword would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Doing 4d6 damage. That's pretty hefty.
That is.
Nice.
To a giant. What else is there? I don't know anything about giants. I don't really like using giants in my game, Tim.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't
know much about them and how a Giant Slayer axe would do.
I know Christopher Stewart, one of our most avid listeners, is a big fan of giants, and he's planning to make them more interesting. So
that's right. Yeah,
you can follow him on Twitter. I'm sure he'll post under a couple of our different stuff on Twitter, so you can follow him. He has some pretty cool ideas about giants. I think he's planning to publish something or write something specifically. I don't know. I'll get in contact with him before we send out this episode, so that
he's a person to give a follow, though.
For sure.
Lots of stuff on D&D, lots of ideas. So do it.
His current passion project is giants.
Giants.
So this is most relevant right now.
That's right. Yeah, he asked me like, "Do you have any ideas on giants?" And I'm like, "Not really, man. I don't like them that much." Basically,
I hate them. They should all die.
Yeah, they should just all die.
Yeah.
I'll use my Giant Slayer weapon.
Yeah, in all of my settings, they're all dead.
That's, not far from the truth. No, I just never really use them.
Yeah, I don't... What haven't I used much of in my setting? I haven't used much of dragons. I think they're...
Really?
My world... Yeah, surprisingly, like for myself. There were one or two around the place of each of the colors, but I haven't saturated my world with dragons yet.
Yes,
yeah.
But that is a different story.
That is another story. So after the Giant Slayer, what comes after that, Mikey?
Nothing. And then after nothing, it's the glamoured studded armor. Studded leather armor. Armor, studded leather, rare. While wearing this armor, you gain a +1 bonus to AC. You can also use a bonus action to speak the armor's command word and cause the armor to assume the appearance of a normal set of clothing or other kind of armor. You decide what it looks like, including color, style, and accessories. But the armor retains its normal bulk and weight. The illusory appearance lasts until you use this property again or remove the armor.
So it's a fancy dress armor.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah, +1 to AC. So you could wear like a studded leather. What is studded leather? 12 plus dex. So that's not bad. That's not bad. To a maximum of 18 AC is still pretty impressive.
Is it medium?
It is light, actually.
Light. Then you can give it to, someone like rogues or bards, and they can use it to, you can sneak into places easier with that.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. The rogue could really use that. Oh man, I didn't think of that. So you're just walking around and you could look like you're wearing a super high fashion suit or something, and you're actually wearing like up to 18 AC.
Yeah.
So you're looking real fancy, but you're actually really well protected. I think that's another thing that could actually be used by somebody who's particularly paranoid.
Yeah.
Like a nobleman who is paranoid or something.
So he changes his clothes?
That has the gems of seeing and the gloves of, or the glamored studded leather.
I think it'll be great for a mastermind rogue. Are they kind of the ones that can they can mimic people easier, and they kind of they can assume people's forms easier?
Oh,
and if they're changing, they can easily change clothes. Then they can kind of sneak into anywhere. They're like the faceless men in like Game of Thrones,
nice.
Something like that.
yeah,
but with armor instead.
But yeah, something like that. But like any kind of, like, not specifically the class of like the mastermind, but like whatever rogues you want could definitely use this. Anybody who's going to be doing clandestine stuff, like under cover of night or even in the daylight with this kind of stuff, he'd be much better at his job if he's using good disguises.
Yeah,
this provides you with all the disguises.
Also can be used for like theater as well, I guess, if you have that in your game. Maybe if you have a baddie who's holding a big party, then you can kind of walk down in like a regular old suit, a bland looking suit or bland looking kind of regalia. He'd be like, ladies and gentlemen, let's party, and then he puts his hands in the air and his clothes get all fancier, and then like people jump out, and then just music starts playing, everyone starts dancing, and then your party are like, what the hell's happening?
Who is this man? Why is he here?
Knowing D&D parties are like, I want to kill this man.
He must die immediately.
Yeah.
But it also says that it can turn into any kind of armor. So you could dress yourself up as like a guard of the court. And man, this would be very useful if you're doing like an evil campaign or even just trying to sneak around the place and not be noticed.
Just a sneaky campaign, yeah.
Or a sneaky section of a campaign where you have to like get into the castle and free the princess.
Yeah, that's a example.
That's my example.
Get into a castle,
or the prince,
or the king,
or the king.
Just Joe from down the road.
Save Joe. Go into the castle and save Joe.
That's the big objective on the screen. Save Joe.
Save Joe. All caps.
Where is he? Find out.
Do your best.
Do your best. Well, this is crazy.
Is it getting out of hand?
Maybe.
Anyway,
why
speaking of getting out of hand.
Oh yeah, that's why. That's why.
Yeah, there we go. The next item is the gloves of missile snaring. A wondrous item, uncommon again, but it requires attunement.
What does it do?
You bitch. These gloves seem to almost meld into your hands when you don them. When a ranged weapon attack hits you while you're wearing them, you can use your reaction to reduce the damage by 1d10 plus your dexterity modifier, providing that you have a free hand. If you reduce the damage to 0, you can catch the missile if it is small enough for you to hold in that hand. Cool.
Wow.
That last line has just made me realize, what if you get somebody shoots like a catapult at you? You can try to catch the missile.
That's a missile. You just have to make sure you get the armor. Not the armor. You have to make sure the damage is. It's like catching missiles as a monk.
Yeah.
I have played games where the term missile has been interpreted in any kind of way. It just like I think it was in one of Stephen Brady, a friend of the podcast, one of his games. He was shooting rocks at us or cyclopses were throwing rocks at us or something, and then we were catching them. There's a lot more to it, but basically we were deflecting missiles. The monk anyway was deflecting the missile with deflect missile rack, and it was this big boulder, but he got the damage, it equaled the damage, so he was able to deflect it. So it's fun when, if you can withstand the damage, then anything can be a missile. So if it's a catapult, then as long as the damage is reduced.
If your dex is +5 and it only deals 15 damage, you could potentially remove the damage or catch the item. Yeah, that's crazy. That's ridiculous. You're fired.
But and does this count for bullets as well if you have like firearms in your game? Yes, it does. That's awesome. It's awesome when that happens, when your monk just catches a bullet and then
pretty badass.
And they're like, no, I'm done, I'm out of here.
Man with gun just like puts it down and walks away. This weapon is clearly useless.
Is this the same as the monk ability?
I'm not sure. It's probably very, very similar, if not the exact same.
It's called deflect missile. That's the monk ability anyway.
Missile. Okay. But I think they do have specifically the ability to potentially like throw it back. Like, I think these gloves are for
catching
just like stopping it, missile snaring.
Okay, gotcha.
I think for flavor, just so it isn't the exact same as the monk ability, I'd say that instead of like actually catching the thing, I'd say there's like a field around them that you can like put your hand out and it just slows down whatever missile is coming towards you. And then, like, if you get the opportunity, it'll either get just through it enough, or like if it stops in your hand, you can grab it. I don't think I'd have it so that like you actually have to like catch it in your hand, because this would be useful for even like a wizard or something whose dex is like -1 even, because it's just reducing the damage of incoming missiles.
But I like the flavor of catching in your hand though. I can just picture catching an arrow and it's just smoking in your hand or something, or like like maybe that gloves are kind of magically assisting you with it, really. That like it's made for this, so it's like whoa, and it catches it right in front of you, and you're like, I didn't do that. It was the gloves that did that. Basically,
it wasn't me.
You don't feel anything in your hand. This is once again, this is the cool item to give a enemy, and then show it off in the fight, and then don't tell the players, of course, that it's the gloves doing it. Just say if they see that he's wearing these fancy gloves, and when the opportunity comes up, he's catching bullets. Or he's catching
darts,
arrows, darts. I guess if your party are throwing
javelins.
darts at javelins, anything. I guess
chairs.
He's stopping arrows with his hands, and then your party like, what the hell's up with this guy? And if they just figure it out, then they can take these items from after they beat him up.
Yep,
and they get a cool item.
Yep. I really like the illustration that they have here of it. The like,
looks like Spider-Man.
Yeah, it does a bit, but it's like the spider's web with the arrowhead in it. It looks really, really cool.
Yeah,
like the arrowhead has been caught in the glove. It's super nice. I think it's really gorgeous design. Congratulations to whoever did that one.
Congratulations. Tim loves you.
I sure do.
Any cool ideas for the missile snaring gloves?
Missile snaring? I think that if these were as kind of, I mean, they're uncommon, but common on the scale of magic items. I think that these would be used by like the kind of royal guards, or even just like captains of guards. If a city is like attacked or something, then these guys could be part of like the front line of defense in a siege or something. Just like reducing the damage dealt by incoming arrows, by incoming anything, basically. Like, these would be handy little siege preventers.
Yeah, so these guys can get like a Mr. President, like, Mr. President, and you just jump out and catch the arrow.
yeah, because you could use a reaction as long as it's within range, right? If a weapon attack hits you,
maybe you can make it like gloves of the royal gloves, like the gloves of the royal guard, and they can do that. They can they're kind of made for protecting the royal bloodline, basically, something like that.
So like extend the range from like, if a ranged weapon attack hits you, make that like, if a ranged weapon attack, if the line of sight intersects within 5 feet of you, you can try to prevent it. So like, if you have a royal person standing in the middle of like completely flanked by 8 guards, then they have like 8 chances to reduce the damage from like anything incoming.
Or just one guy with one octopus man.
One octopus man covered in gloves of missile snaring. Perfect. The ultimate defense.
Who will win? 8 regular ass guards or 1 octopus man?
One octopus man. Or 8 octopus men.
Oh, there we go.
Yep. Ultimate defense. 64 hands. Because that's what octopus have. They have
That's
hands.
my favorite Nintendo 64 game. 64
Octopus
hands.
64 hands.
Isn't there a game? There's a game for Nintendo 64 called Glover. It was kind of it was a 3D platformer.
Oh yeah.
In the veins of Banjo-Kazooie and Super Mario 64. It looks terrible. You play as a glove, and it looked very bad. And I think there's like so many copies of that game going around because there were so many copies made, and everybody hates it. Everybody's just selling their copy of it. So when I thought of 64 hands, I thought of Glover 64.
There you go. Glover 64.
What are we fucking talking about? This is another one. This has been another Creature Club deep cut where, hey guys, have you played Pursuit Force? Like, you know.
Amazing.
No, but that's really cool. I really like the idea of making these the same, but used for protection instead of like protection for someone else instead of self protection. Like pretty much just saying, no, you can't use them on yourself. You can use them on someone else.
Yeah.
And they have to be within 5. They have to be adjacent to them. So when push comes to shove, your royal guard, your like elite knights are gonna like just, you know, huddle up and like protect the king, and then they're protecting him, and they're just standing right to him. As anyone tries to shoot the king, they just grab these bullets, grab these catapults, I guess.
Yeah, bolts, catapults, trebuchets.
Yeah.
Fucking ballista.
And maybe you can do like there's charges of them, and you can use it as reaction, or you can just use a reaction, and that's it.
Yeah, the reaction as it is. Although, if like, no, I think reaction is reasonable. Like within 6 seconds, I think you shouldn't be able to catch more than maybe one thing.
And it means that they don't get an opportunity attack that round, I guess. So they just get this, which is leads more to the: are you going to fight them, or are you going to protect the person you're supposed to protect?
Like, all right, do you have to deal with close up enemies or more with like distant stuff?
And make sure one of your royal guards is a bugbear, longer arms, longer reach.
Oh,
and there you go.
Yeah.
Just or an octopus man,
or octopus man,
or
several octopus men in a suit of armor.
Which that'd be cool for like a Triton kingdom, like an Aquaman-esque kingdom, where you just have like a fish man kingdom, and one of them's an octopus man, and has this. I'm still going with the octopus man. That's I hate octopus. I think they're so weird. Yeah, I don't really. Cool. They freak me out.
They're definitely weird.
Like if I ever saw one, I would freak out.
Yeah,
and if one was ever put, that's why I don't really want to become a chef too much, because I'm pretty sure people would make me.
Just don't become a sushi chef.
Yeah, take this octopus and like live octopus and just do something with it, please.
No.
I'm like, ugh.
No, thank you.
Anyway, the next one. Prepare yourself.
No,
this is the final battle. No, it's not. It's the
the third to last.
Final. Yeah, gloves of swimming and climbing. Wondrous item, uncommon, requires attunement. While wearing these gloves, climbing and swimming don't cost you extra movement. You gain +5 bonus to strength athletics checks to climb or swim.
Oh.
So, yeah, you get a don't cost you extra movement, so you don't get a climbing or swimming speed. You just don't.
It just doesn't cost you extra movement. Huh.
What does that mean?
So it's like, well, climbing speed.
Well, it doesn't say you get a climbing speed because you still have to make the check. You just get a +5 bonus to it.
Huh. That's weird. That's very, very strange.
That's a strange way of putting it.
I mean, it's basically, I think they're trying to mitigate having it be like the ultimate combination of the boots of spider climbing and like being able to, one of those like breathing underwater items.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to make it like not super overpowered, but you know, why not? If you're going to be giving someone like gloves of swimming and climbing, let them have it do what they think it's going to do.
That's what I would do if I homebrewed an item. But, here we go. I think I found something here.
Okay.
Yeah, PCs can swim, no problem, but each foot of movement costs 1 extra foot.
So that's at half speed.
So you don't have half speed. So you just get the swim speed. You get, I think.
Yeah, you just get a swim speed equal to your walking speed.
That's very strange.
Yeah, I think it kind of does, because like if you're going through water and it says it just costs you 1 foot per foot, that means you just half your movement in swimming, but it doesn't give you. That is bizarre, because things do have swimming speeds, but maybe those swimming speeds are only specifically if it is like significant that it is more than like half of a standard movement. I don't know.
Well, with swimming speeds and climbing speeds, that means you can do a lot more stuff than just swim and climb.
Well, yeah.
You can like fight. You can like fight better. If you have a swimming speed underwater, you don't have disadvantage.
Oh.
You just attack normally underwater because you know how to swim. And if you have a climbing speed, you can kind of climb up the walls and attack as well.
Right. So that's what this is mitigating, basically. So it doesn't give you those benefits, but it gives you the ability to move through those things potentially. God, I don't know, because that is so strange. You just have the disadvantages of moving through water or climbing normally. You probably have disadvantage while you're clung to a wall or something.
Yeah.
But your movement it just doesn't affect your movement specifically.
Yeah.
That's weird.
So Tim,
that's fine.
Would you make it an item, a bit would you make it like a rarer item that can give you a swimming and climbing speed?
Yeah, definitely. Like I'd just make this super gloves of swimming and climbing. Like, no, I'd call it the gloves of I would call these the bad gloves of swimming and climbing. The like shit tier gloves of swimming and climbing that are not good very much.
I feel like if you had these and give them to a player, you would just cause confusion at the table.
Yeah.
You'd be like, no, it doesn't actually say you get swim speed, but you should get a swim speed. It just that you would waste an hour talking to the part, like talking to everyone, going like how this works.
Yeah.
You could probably just give them something else.
Yeah.
Other than this, or give them a swim speed and climbing speed. Just do that already.
Do it. Just do
because
it. Come on.
You don't get that too much anyway in the game.
Yeah, like there's so few instances of swimming in D&D. There's a bit of climbing, but like no point. Yeah, I really don't see any point in making these things a thing. Let me know, Wizards of the Coast. I know you're listening. Why you did this? Why have you done this to me? Why do you hate me?
Tim is very sad right now.
I'm so sad, Wizards of the Coast.
Because of his damn gloves.
These flipping gloves. I'd make them fingerless gloves of swimming and climbing, so that some people aren't fans of them just as a thing that exists.
I feel like that's coming from a familiar place, Tim.
I liked fingerless gloves when I was in school, but some people made fun of me for it. So
I was there too.
Fuck them.
Don't worry about it.
But no, I don't like them. I probably wouldn't use them at all in my settings. I wouldn't give them to bad guys. I wouldn't give them to my party. I would just come up with something that was just like swim speed, climbing speed. There you go, equal to your standard movement. If you're a dwarf, if you're a halfling and your speed is 25, there you go. You have 25-foot swimming and climbing. Yeah, go nuts.
Yeah, you get a swim and climb speed equal to your movement speed or whatever. Just that. And that's fine. That is fine. Giving your players making them a little bit overpowered is fine by me. And I don't even know
an athletics check to swim, because people are just gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna swim. Like, oh, athletics check. No, that doesn't happen unless they're like, I have to swim really hard. Then you just let them dash and have their double movement. You don't need to do an athletics check to dash normally. So
yeah, we're going in circles here.
These gloves are making me unnecessarily angry.
Yes, I'm sorry, Tim.
It's okay.
Gloves of swimming and climbing, as it's written here, it sounds confusing.
Yeah,
do it. Just give them a swimming climbing speed. I think is just it's a graceful option. Really, there. Yep. It's easier that way. Moving on.
The gloves of thievery, wondrous item, uncommon. These gloves are invisible while worn. While wearing them, you gain a +5 bonus to dexterity, sleight of hand checks, and dexterity checks made to pick locks. There you go. Super handy one for the old rogue or anybody who wants to match the rogue's ability.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of the hood of the head of the Thieves Guild in Oblivion. It was just this invisible hood that basically made it so that nobody noticed you. Like nobody ever saw you or paid attention to you. You just could walk around and nobody noticed.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it was called. It was like the cowl of... Oh, dang it. I can't remember. But it was in Oblivion. That's a game I played a lot of.
Oblivion's a great game.
Yeah. Oh, it's a fantastic game. I think it was cowl. It was the cowl of something. It was the Simon
If you know
cowl.
what it is, then like, comment, and subscribe right now.
If you're not already, like, comment, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below.
Hey guys, just want to stop the episode for a second. Just say subscribe. Okay, so the gloves of thievery. I love how they're invisible as well. It just suits the flavor.
That's tasty.
Of course, like a roguish wizard who made this enchanter, whoever made this item, is like, I'm gonna make it invisible, of course, because why would you like have it?
Yeah,
like why would they be visible if you're trying to be sneaky? You know, they wouldn't let you into a place like, hello, I'm coming into your valuable store with these weird gloves on.
Wait a second, aren't those the gloves of thievery?
I'll be back.
Be right
I'm back. I'm wearing no gloves now. So
I see you're not wearing any gloves anymore. Welcome in.
Come on in, sir.
Would you like to browse my fine wares?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like that they're invisible. That's pretty powerful, actually. The old +5. That's like having a 20 in your decks for those specific checks.
Yeah.
So what doesn't it give you? It doesn't give you acrobatics, or what else is dexterity? I don't know. But that's handy. Sleight of hand and dexterity checks to pick locks. Super handy. Gloves of thievery.
Very handy to give to a party that might not have a rogue in the party. Oh, yes. Shush you.
Sorry. There's lots of that in this game.
Quite a lot. To give it to a party that doesn't have a rogue in the party, just for someone to be able to pick the locks and pick the locks of like doors in dungeons or chests or something like that.
Yeah.
Or just, because you don't want to get to a point where you're stuck and you can't get through a door. So you just, giving someone this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you might get stuck. You have a wizard uses knock, and then he forgets that the knock spell actually alerts makes a huge
everything
sound.
within 300 feet. Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't do that, but someone might make that mistake.
I think this would be handy if you have somebody who has thieves' tools but isn't necessarily like proficient in them. Like you say, with a party that doesn't have a rogue or is someone who is quick with their hands or whatever.
Yeah.
Like this would definitely make up the difference, essentially, very, very quickly. Even better than like the bonus if you had the proficiency, and then if you do also have a proficiency with your thieves' tools, this specifically with picking locks, it makes it super powerful.
Yeah,
it's a handy little thing. +5 is actually very substantial for an uncommon item.
That's right.
Like everything else here, like the gloves of swimming and climbing, I would rank this head and shoulders above the gloves, because this has real actual like weight in a campaign. Like this could be like character defining almost.
Yeah, depending on how your game goes, your campaign goes, there's going to be a lot of lock picking. It seems like picking locks is a thing that happens in D&D quite a lot. So having this for anyone, I know a rogue would kind of already have this already, without having the gloves, because if you're making a rogue in the classic way, then its dexterity would be around that.
Yes.
And sleight of hand might be around that if you want to take proficiency in that. But if you give it to a rogue, then it'll just be like, I go up to a lock and it just unlocks automatically. Like it's
I enter the room and all doors and chests unlock.
Yeah, just like nothing can stop me. So that would be cool.
I think this would be a cool way for somebody to play a character who is pretending to be a thief or something. Like they came across somebody who was mortally wounded and they handed them these gloves and were like, take these to my friend. And you're like, no, these are mine now. But it's somebody who's going to like pretend that they're this master thief or something.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to be able to tell. And like you don't have to show your party members your items, so they're not going to know that you're wearing these things. You could just be like, people could assume that you're a rogue when actually you're like a fighter or something. So you're just spontaneously quite good at actually fighting, as well as being pretty impressive with like a sword and picking locks and shit.
Yeah. Like that's a very fun character concept of just like, I am the greatest thief who have ever lived, and then you're actually just a guy who took took some gloves and took the name of the thief who the greatest thief who ever lived. You're just assuming his form.
I have one of those in my setting. It's quite fun. He has some cool items that I'm a big fan of. But this might be actually something. I mean, I have stuff in a similar vein, but not as specific as this, like the sleight of hand and lockpicks. That's nice. It's a cool item. Very handy for like character flavor for a good guy or a bad guy. NPC or player character.
Yeah. Give it to a regular, non-rogue character to get them good at picking locks, and give it to a rogue already, or someone who just already is good at picking locks, and make him extremely good at picking locks. But it's a good item nonetheless. It's a good little thing to have in your arsenal, so giving it to your players would be fun. Just giving it to them and seeing what happens is a cool idea. So
you could have some real like in character fun with this. Like you could have it be like your guy's kind of quirky, and everybody else thinks that he's pretending to put on gloves before he picks this lock because he can't see them, and then he just goes ahead and does it, and then takes off these invisible gloves, and everyone's like, why do you do that? And he's like, oh, people have their, you have to have your ritual, for doing the things he loves. So yeah, that's cool. I really like this item.
And that's a really fun idea for an NPC as well, because as a player it might be hard. You can easily do that as a player if your DM knows what's going on, but as an NPC you can kind of keep that in your head, and then you're like, oh yeah, he actually had some gloves that can do that the entire time. Like, what? Yeah. That's weird. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But as a player you might be like, okay, I'm gonna use the gloves now, don't tell the other guys. But you can easily do it anyway, either way.
Yeah,
it's cool. I like it.
Absolutely.
Gloves of Thievery.
I'll take 3.
Okay. I'll
3 gloves,
put down the order right now. Next item. Goggles of the Night. Or just Goggles of Night. Well, I like my name better. Wondrous item. Uncommon. While wearing these dark lenses, you have dark vision out to a range of 60 feet. If you already have dark vision, wearing the goggles increases its range by 60 feet.
Oh my god.
So you have dark vision.
That's cool.
Night vision goggles.
Yeah.
And you have better dark vision if you already have dark vision.
I like that they're kind of owl themed.
Yeah.
In the illustration here. They're very cool. They're kind of leafy as well. That's strange. I would not have thought the Goggles of Night would be kind of... It looks druidic to me, like the leather and the kind of leaf pattern on them. But sure, why not? That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like the little beak on it as well, so that it sits on your nose. Although if you had any other shaped nose than that, it would just stab you in the tip of the nose.
Yeah.
That would be very uncomfortable. You'd have to get one of your strong boys to kind of like bend out the point on it so that it doesn't stab you.
I fixed it for you.
There you go. Thanks, buddy.
No problem. No, I used this item once before for a party of everyone had dark vision and one guy didn't, so I gave him this, and it was very handy.
Yeah,
I think it would be a very cool kind of like item to use for, let's say, if you're going into like the Underdark or something.
Yes, for sure.
You have like an expedition going down there, and then they're handing out all the people who are going down there these.
Yeah,
like take these if you can't see in the dark. They'll help you, like night vision goggles. Or give it to a thief who has the gloves of thievery, and be like a master thief, and who has night vision goggles too, who can go through the dark, stealthy.
The G's so far have been basically an arsenal for somebody who wants to play like a thief or a rogue or something.
Yeah.
They have the Gem of Seeing, giving you true sight so that you can see things coming. You have the Gem of Light or whatever it was a second ago. What was it? Gem of Seeing or whatever?
It's a
Gem of Brightness.
Gem of Brightness.
Yeah, so he's wearing... Yeah, he's well kitted out, basically, if he's doing stuff like this.
Glamored studded armor.
Mm-hmm. So that he can get in and out.
Gloves of Thievery.
Gloves of Thievery, so he can steal and pick locks. Goggles of the night, so that he can see.
Gem of Seeing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that he can spot whatever is coming from whatever direction. And he can see through illusions and all kinds of cool stuff.
And he uses the Gem of Brightness for like that getaway... like blind the guards that spotted him, so he can run away, and use the Giant Slayer for killing a giant. That's but no, this is actually if you want to make a cool rogue, go to the G section of the Dungeon Master's Guides magic items. Just in G, there's a lot of cool items for that.
Yeah, the real G's shop in G.
Oh no, anyway. Tim has finally lost it.
At that point, that's where I've lost it.
Yeah, just very good. The one point in the G section of Treasure Trove.
That's when he lost his mind.
Yes, I was going to say, what will you do with the Goggles of the Night, Tim? I was going to ask you.
Goggles of the Night. I think I would probably, just inspired by the design that they have here, I'd probably give them to like a druidic tribe or something, or like have them be built by druids to protect the like forests at night, like because a lot of scary stuff comes out at night, classically. So these druids kind of use this stuff to keep it in check. So if you're traveling at night through a forest and you've kind of gone off the beaten track, you might come across a set of druids who are wearing these goggles, or the humans in the druidic tribe are using them, or even like elves and stuff. Because having an extended dark vision up to 120 feet is a nice little boon. Like, that means that you can see somebody who can already see in the dark before they can see you, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'd probably use them that kind of way to kind of
like
get around the classic.
Like Circle of the Moon kind of druid.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Do you know what I'm picturing now, though?
Mm-hmm.
These druids who are like, attuned with nature, don't wear much like armor, and kind of wear like furs and hides and leather. Comes to the dark, they hear something in the distance, like, and they just put on their high tech night vision goggles.
Night vision goggles.
Goggles on, guys.
Yeah, but stuff like that, like the illustration there is definitely kind of metally and has like a cool little clasps and stuff, but I think that just leading into the druid stuff, like have them be actually made of like leaves and hardened wood and like charcoal and the heart of something that like lets you see in the dark. What's something that is kind of the dark? Displacer beast is the only thing that comes to mind, but maybe that like they attune the displacers, like its eyes or something, to the kind of shifting of the lights and stuff, and like it just lets them see a little better.
Lots of things about the dark, though, like like a bat, or
Although bats have good ears.
An owl.
Owl's a good one. Themed on the owl.
A theme on the owl. Just owl men.
Owl men. It does actually kind of look like the owl guy from Watchmen. Yeah, a little bit.
An owl man.
Oh,
evil Batman.
Evil Batman. I'm bad man.
Yeah. Well, they it says goggles of night, but it can be like lenses of night if you wanted to make it less goggly, or just like some eyeglasses they can put on and see.
Monocle of night.
Yeah, and they kind of use it for, as you said, made from leaves and magic and nature magic, or like nature and stuff are saying use these and you can see in the night now.
That actually reminds me something that could be used in a similar vein. When I was younger, I read the Spiderwick Chronicles, and they would use this little stone to see into like the fantasy realm, basically, where they could see these goblins that were attacking them and stuff.
Okay.
And maybe there are just these special enchanted stones that you can attune to have various different like sight abilities. So maybe if you wanted to like combine the goggles of night with the gem of seeing, you could like have it so that you could attune the vision to different settings, basically. I mean, you'd almost always have it on true sight, but maybe you can like break down the abilities of true sight from like just see everything to like, you can set it to be able to see through illusions, you can set it to be able to see through into the ethereal plane, you can see dark vision, you can just like have different settings on these goggles, because only something with true sight should have true sight, I think,
Yeah, maybe it had. You don't have to do charges on it, but it takes like a action or like a bonus action or something to set it to another part of true sight.
Yeah.
So during a combat, it might be a lot more. You lose one of your actions if you want to change it during combat.
See invisibility as well. Like if you're being attacked, you have to like stop for a second and adjust your goggles, and then you can see, and then you're the one that throws, I don't know, sand on the invisible person so that everyone else can see them.
He's over there, guys.
Throw your pocket sand.
Pocket sand. Next item, pocket sand.
Yes.
Goggles of night. You can see in the night.
You sure can.
You can have dark vision, and if you have dark vision, you have extra dark vision.
Double.
Not much to it. It's cool and simple, but you can do a lot flavor-wise with that.
Yeah, and then you can kind of mess around with it, because as it kind of is with the monster manual and everything, it's all kind of suggestions. It's like prompts for you to come up with your own cool stuff.
Absolutely.
Like I think the gloves of thievery are very well themed, and I don't think that you could do much more with that to make them more obviously gloves of thievery. But like goggles of the night, like that is quite open. It says dark vision up to 60 feet, double dark vision if you already have it. But I think the idea of like any kind of eyeglass or lens that allows you to kind of mess around with what you can see is always a cool prompt to be able to see beyond what is normal. And I think it's super cool. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, use it. Give it to your players. If they don't already have dark vision, but it's cool.
Or even if they do.
It's just a handy item to have. And that is all of G.
That's all of G.
Tim, how do you feel after G is done? How does G make you feel?
It made me feel pretty good. It made me feel sick there for a second, but then I recovered very quickly.
You got so angry at that item that we will not mention the name of.
We will not say its name ever again. And if anybody tweets at me, I will get immediately very angry and tweet back and say, thank you for your constructive criticism, or thanks for bringing up my trauma. I hate it.
If you guys know what they were trying to do with the gloves of swimming and climbing, let us know.
For sure.
And let us know if it actually is better than what we think it is.
Educate us, like we can help educate you.
Yes, please, because we are, the three of us are kind of idiots. So let us know when we are being idiots.
Yeah. If you can come up with some reason for this insanity, let us know.
I think we're going to end it right there, Tim. We don't have much else to say.
Nope.
Let's do the housekeeping.
Alrighty. Well, yeah, thanks everybody for tuning in. This has been Treasure Trove, episode of Creature Club. You can follow us on whatever podcast app you're using. We always appreciate that. You can subscribe to our RSS feed to be notified whenever we put up a new episode. You can even follow us on Spotify, which will allow you to just get us into your little feed whenever you open the app, and you'll know when we have a new episode. We are on Twitter, which is where we are most active as individuals and as our own Creature Club account. We are at Creature Club Pod, that's CreatureClubPod, for those of you who may not have heard us the first time we said it.
Yeah,
but
if you look up Creature Club Podcast as well on Twitter, you'll just see us too.
We are always looking for homebrew, and Treasure Trove is a good inspiration. So if you can think of something to use, if you were inspired by one of these episodes to create your own item, whether it's rare or uncommon or simple or complicated, just send it on to us on our email at creatureclubpodcast@gmail.com. So do that. Did I miss anything?
Not really. I think just share us, tell your friends if they are into something similar. That's always great. I know it's kind of strange telling people to listen to a podcast that you like when it's just three weird Irish guys talking about monsters. But if you think they're into this kind of stuff, then please share.
Yeah.
Look up Timothy's Music on Twitch. You'll see someone that you might like. You might enjoy.
Recognize the voice of, at the very least.
Yeah. It's very that's Timothy's Music on Twitch. So do that.
Look up Mike to Lime on YouTube for some handy little views into a couple different aspects of how to use video games for inspiration in some of your scenarios.
Thank you very much, Tim.
That.
Yeah. I had literally a couple of videos.
Exactly.
I have
One
two
couple.
videos. I plan to do more. I just not have done it in a while. So
that's fine. They're still a handy resource, and they're always there. It's like we have our entire library of episodes that have come before us, but they're not going anywhere. So they're still a useful resource. And
absolutely. That's a good way of looking at it.
All of the information that you have out there is always going to be there until YouTube shuts down or the internet dies or our backups explode.
Yeah.
If all that even happens, I do have external hard drives that I've been keeping of everything, so we're pretty much set, basically.
Yeah. Anyway, that's admin stuff. Let us end the episode right there.
Okay.
I have been Mikey.
I have been Tim.
And I want you guys to stay cool.
of that darkness. Oh shit!
Whoa.
My guitar just fell.
Guitar just fell?
Yeah.
Is it all right?
Yep, looks it.
Gonna put it back up?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in its bag.
Put it in a bag. All right, no problem. Tim just broke his guitar, guys. I want everyone to press F in the chat.
I'm just gonna strum a chord. Sounds okay. Maybe a little out of tune.
Little out of tune, but that's just how it goes sometimes. That's life.
Happens to guitars.
That's what they go out of tune. You gotta just tune them up again.